finally turns 23. There you go. So I'm going to read you my favorite chapter from the book. It is chapter 18, 19, something like that. 14. Okay, it's chapter 14. So to set the stage, this is halfway through the book, and at the back of the ship is a basketball court. Just like the Impractical Jokers cruise, at the back of the Norwegian Pearl, there's an outdoor basketball court that's literally on the edge of a railing, and it's really kind of hidden from sight. You would never know it's back there unless you really search the ship and look for it. Excuse me 1 second. So, in this chapter, our young boy, 10-year-old Owen Daly, goes late at night to play basketball. And here's what happens. Unfortunately, he has a run-in with a serial killer on board. I'm sorry, poor Owen, but here you go. Chapter 14 of The Stowaway by Darren Weirmouth and James Murray. Love you, buddy. Okay. 10-year-old Owen Daly fought off sleep as best as he could. His parents had already gone to bed in their cabin. Once he made sure they were asleep, his plan was to swipe the key card out of his mom's lanyard and head straight for the basketball court, a quiet area near the back of the ship, and he was betting the court would be empty. He stared at the digital clock. Nearly 11 at night, and the rest of the passengers would be in the ballroom singing karaoke and drinking. The sound from the party reverberated across the open-air decks of the ship. By the way, off camera, my dog is scratching my leg, just so you know. Hello, pup. Hello, baby girl. It's my pup. Hi, baby. Melissa? Melissa?
What?
Oh, can you call the puppy? She's humping my leg. I apologize. Okay, here we go. Anyways, the sound from the party reverberated across the open-air decks of the ship, getting louder each time someone walked through the automatic sliding glass doors to head back to their rooms. Owen stifled a yawn. Some good had to come out of his day. After losing a game of chicken in the pool to a girl earlier in the afternoon, he was determined to make a few baskets before going to sleep. Now was the time to make a break for it. Owen swept the comforter to one side, crept to the door, slowly opened it, winced as it creaked, stepped into the dim corridor, and closed the cabin. He waited for a moment, listening intently for any signs of his parents scrambling out of bed. Nothing. Then he moved off at a fast walk, rushing up the staircase to the right deck and headed toward the door. An old couple headed toward him. Owen looked down, avoiding eye contact as he made it outside. The wind had picked up. It blew hard across the ship, through his thin green t-shirt, and sent a shiver up his spine. He jogged along the deserted walkway toward the back of the ship, farther away from the sounds of the partying, closer to his own quiet space to have some fun. Owen found the court empty. A smile stretched across his face as he headed inside. The basketballs had been stowed away by the maintenance staff for the night, but Owen spotted a forgotten one tucked under a bench. The ball was slightly deflated from the wear and tear of the day. He didn't mind. The little bit of extra give meant he could get a better grip with his small hands. He tossed the ball toward the hoop. It clattered off the rim and shot back toward him. A voice cut through the echoing bounces of the ball. "Tough shot, but you're pretty good." Owen spun around, startled at the sound of the spectator. A man stood with his hands clutching the chain-link fence that surrounded the court. "Mind if I come watch?" the man asked. Owen turned back toward the hoop, too tired and too uninterested to respond. He'd had his cheeks pinched too many times today by his parents' dumb friends to let this adult bother him now. The man squeezed himself between the opening of the fence and walked over to where Owen dribbled. "I gotta tell you, I love sports too. What's your favorite?" The boy weighed his options. "Baseball," he finally replied. The man laughed. "Baseball, huh? Me too. Let me guess. Do you like the Yankees?" "Yeah, I love the Yankees," Owen grinned, showing off the gap where his front tooth was still missing. "I lost my favorite Yankees hat today, though. My mom got so mad." "Ah, that's a shame. I'm sure it'll turn up somewhere. What's your name?" "Owen." "No way. Are you serious? My name's Owen, too," the man said with a warm grin. The boy looked up at him with one eyebrow raised. Really? Yep. Been my name my whole life. Owen smiled at the man's joke. How old are you? Owen took another shot at the basketball hoop. It awkwardly hit the backboard and bounced back toward the middle of the court, sending him sprinting after it. The man positioned himself beneath the basket. I bet you're at least 12, right? 10. 10. Wow, you look older, the man replied. 10. Now that's a good number, like Phil Rizzuto. Owen smiled at the mention of the legendary baseball player. He dribbled the ball by his side, lined up another shot, and chucked it toward the hoop. The ball soared through the air just short of the rim. The man caught it just before it hit the ground. He dribbled the ball back toward Owen and said, I bet you'll be tall when you grow up. Probably tall enough to be a great pitcher. My brother makes fun of me for being short. He's taller than me, but that's because he's older. But our sister is even taller than him. She's the oldest. Well, I bet she can't dunk a basketball, but I bet you can. What? No way, I can't do that, Owen laughed. My dad says maybe when I'm older. He thinks I'll be at least 6 foot when I'm 15. Well, who's got time to wait until you're 15? Here, come over here. I'll pick you up and you can dunk it through the hoop. It'll be awesome. Owen looked down at the laces on his tennis shoes. This man seemed nice, but it's okay. I'll just shoot some hoops. Come on. How cool would it be if you dunk one shot? $10 says you can do it. He looked at the man, who smiled back at him with open arms, and then up the hoop. Owen really wanted to make a basket. Just one? The man pressed. Okay, Owen replied. He headed over to the nice man, someone whom he had a lot in common with. With one quick scoop, the man lifted Owen beneath the armpits and propped him up by the hoop. Even with the boost, Owen's arms were still a little bit too short. He struggled to push the ball above the rim, grunted with effort, but it was no use. The man took a step back, away from the hoop. The basketball tumbled out of Owen's hands and hit the court with a smack. Hey, I didn't do it yet, Owen cried out. Let me try again. The man ignored him. He walked backward toward the court exit, carrying the boy firmly in his arms. Owen laughed at first, reminded of the many times his own father had picked him up like this and spun him around. But this wasn't the same. The man stepped through the fence and carried him onto the open-air deck. Sensing the danger, Owen began to struggle. Hey, put me down! He kicked his legs against the man's chest. Put me down! The man tightened his grip on the boy and peered out across the rough water. No stars shone that night. Only the light of the half-moon twinkled on the tips of the water. With one final heave, the man lifted the boy above his head and tossed him over the guard railing. Owen screamed all the way down until his body smashed against the freezing surface of the pitch-black Atlantic Ocean.